The All-Star break is over, so the home stretch is going to be fascinating to see. Cunningham. Oh! Left hand! Cunningham! It's filthy.
Oh, he went all Moody on him. 2 straight blocks. James Harden on the run. Harden alley-oop. Oh! Showtime! 54 consecutive free throws made.
It's a one-point game. We're going nowhere right now.
Oh, my goodness! He has made the last 4 field goals for Houston. Shot clock's down to 3. Oh, my goodness! 19 years and running.
Oh, yes, the NBA is back, baby. We all needed a break, right? But 10 games on the slate last night, and now we're going to get to break it down. We're in the home stretch of the NBA season, and tonight on ESPN, fresh off his All-Star MVP, Anthony Edwards. He is back in action, and then we get the battle for Los Angeles. Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, they have a chance to claw. See what we did there? They're way back to 500. They're going to have to contend, though, with the Lakers, their big three that would go for just the 11th time all year. And since we're talking Luka and Ant, the latest MVP straw poll, it's been released. Who's closing the gap in the final sprint of the season? NBA Today starts right now. And Shanae,
yes,
clear 7th Avenue. Beat me. We need to clear West 34th Street because vroom, vroom, the motorcade is rolling through.
He's not just rolling through. He has a parking spot there.
He has a parking spot at Madison Square Garden, and that is where we go now. GQ recently did a story with Cade, and he says, I want to be on the Olympic team coming up. I think I am the best player in America. And Shanae, he showed that. His performance, it was reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
Starting with setting up his big man, Jalen Duren.
This decision. Yeah. Split. Gotcha. Banana split. Hey.
What a finish there by Cade.
And the flex.
Putting on a little bit of a
this
show
meant something to him.
And then letting everybody know it as well. And then Cade.
Oh, man.
Crossing up Sohan.
Oh, man.
No way. Series against New York. And I think this deserves a little bit of a closer look here because Cade, he was the king of New York last night. He made franchise history, right? He became the first Detroit player with 40 points, 10 dimes, 5 threes in a game.
Wow.
And he finished his Manhattan masterclass with his second 40-point, 10-assist game of the season. And with that, he joins Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas as the only Pistons to do that multiple times in a single season. So already in an elite class there in Detroit history. And today, we don't see visiting players throw garden parties like this very often,
we don't.
Right? He's just the third visiting player with a 40-10 game along with Allen Iverson and LeBron. Here's his head coach, J.B. Bickerstaff.
I mean, he's a superstar, and there's no doubt about it. You know, it's hard for me to think of 5 guys in this league that does more on both ends than he does. He never says no. He never complains, you know, and he goes out and gets the job done. Superstars are people that impact winning at a level that he has.
A lot of games mean more for different reasons and stuff. Obviously, this was a great performance. I'm very happy with how I played last night, or tonight, how the whole squad played. Big win for us, missing our big fellas and stuff.
Cade's a great player, and obviously we scout against him, and he's obviously our priority. But great players have big games. You didn't slow them down fast enough, or even at all.
High praise there, particularly from J.B. Bickerstaff, as we say hello to our NBA champion, Iman Shumpert, our reporter covering the Pistons for us, Vince Goodwill. Vince, I want to start with you here because you were in the building. You talked to Cade after he put on a show. What did he tell you?
Well, we talked to Cade earlier in the preseason about MVP aspirations, and he said all of those things have to come in the vein of winning. I don't want to talk about MVP right now. So after he finished his media session, I said, hey, is it time to revisit that conversation? And he said, I don't want to campaign for myself. You guys as the voters should be able to see who has an impact on winning. And then a few seconds later, he said, I think I am the MVP. And I don't care if you disagree with me. And I think the numbers are starting to bear that out.
Numbers are starting to bear that out. I mean, Shanae, do you agree?
Look, I understand that there are some, game requirements amongst the favorites in MVP with SGA and Jokic, but you should create some room for Cade in the conversation. That was a statement win yesterday. And I mentioned that he can flex all muscles when he plays because he can play any position. He brings the ball up. We have a couple of plays right, and he was on a heater. You can see the flames right there. Cade has really developed his game alongside his team. They have the NBA best record, 41-13. They're trying to protect home court for the playoffs, but look at how many points he has created. A masterclass, 73. Again, top in assists, masterful in how he controls the scoring. He just is a one-man show at this point.
Yeah, and really, folks, we're starting to pay attention to what Detroit is bringing, not just as a regular season story, but something that we could see deep into the postseason. Because, Shump, as the jerseys behind you indicate, I'm sure you saw plenty of players try to make a statement in the Garden during your time with the New York Knicks. What kind of message did Cade send to the rest of the league last night when he does something like this?
I think Cade Cunningham sent a message to the New York Knicks that he has no fear of them, and he is not really bothered by seeing them in the playoffs. I think he's been thinking about it all summer, and I'm going to be honest. As a guy that played for the Knicks and a guy that goes to support the Knicks as much as I can, I do not want them playing Detroit. I would much rather somebody else take them out if I'm the Knicks. I say this because of the matchups. We start talking about matchups again. When you look at Detroit on paper, you start to say they don't have bona fide scorers around Cade Cunningham.
Right.
But when you go into a game and you know that JD's sitting out, they got other guys sitting out, and Cade Cunningham comes in there and his eyes light up, and he go off for 40 and 10, and everybody's bouncing around, everybody's having fun, I don't want to see the man in the Garden no more. So somebody else, please get them out the way. I don't want to see them match up with them.
Especially because it's not just one game, right? When you look at the New York Knicks over the course of the season, they have struggled with these Detroit Pistons here. You can see the point differential over the 3 games that they've played here. Vinny, you're in the Knicks locker room. You're talking to players here. Do you get the sense that the Knicks have just a Pistons problem, or are they talking about something larger that's brewing for a team that has really lofty playoff expectations?
Yes. As in both.
Yes,
they got problems. They got a Pistons problem. They have an internal problem, especially when you look at Karl Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is supposed to be the guy that is the great equalizer, especially when you look at the Knicks having secondary scoring, the Pistons not. But in these games, he has not been able to find his way. He missed the second game where they lost by 37, but last night he was at full health, and he had problems with Paul Reed, a third-string center. He just didn't look comfortable. Now, the crazy thing is, Mike Brown says Karl Towns is comfortable. Karl Towns feels like he will be the scapegoat if things do not go well because nobody else has the responsibility in that locker room. That is a problem that the Knicks have to address between now and the start of the playoffs.
The difference from last year to this year is the fact that Karl Anthony Towns, his touches have gone down, but also multiple players on the Knicks' touches have gone down. You've created more of an egalitarian system, but it feels like he's maybe not at the center of the universe, whereas last year it was like get the ball to Jalen Brunson, get the ball to Cat. Now it's more of an offensive system that involves everyone, but this is where I get a little bit frustrated because he is someone that is tremendously talented. He's someone that can score on the post, that can knock down a 3. He was, a couple years the best proclaimed shooting big man in the entire association. At some point, you can deviate and flex your muscle and say, give me the ball. And I do think that that's where I, like, as a player, and Shump, you can sort of speak to it. As a player, your coach might call a set, and you can deviate and say, like, I've got a mismatch. Put me where I want. Give me the ball. And so I do think he's trying to be a good player under a coach. But at sometimes, I want him to flex his muscles more and just say, I am a part of this system, and I deserve to be confident in it.
What do you think of that, Shump?
I just think that, again, to speak on what Shanae's saying, you have to, as a big man, you have to rim run. You have to duck in. You have to find little moments that you're making stuff happen as a basketball player. I think right now, Cat is waiting for his team to look out for him. Exactly. You're not going to get a special play. We don't have a special treat, candy, wrapper. We don't have any of that for you. You got hard for himself. And right now, I don't like when he's driving to the basket or is back to the basket. I know I begged for it, but it's just not being successful right now. I think he needs to make it easy. Where are the duck-ins? Where are the back screens? Where are the slips? Where's the offensive rebounds? Where's the mellow miss layup, get the rebound, stack stuff, go back up again? Like, I need all of that to get involved right now.
You create your own destiny. And lastly, I'll say this. I used to think for a number of games, a majority of them, I'd look at the Knicks and be like, oh, Jalen Brunson's the best on the floor. Cat is going to be the best on the floor in this matchup. Now you have Cade Cunningham looking like he's the best player in these circumstances. Then you think about, okay, when Jalen Brown runs into town, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, they have a whole different energy. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. There are question marks, whereas I was fully confident in the Knicks before, and that's interesting.
And it seems like the word for the New York Knicks season is inconsistent, and it can really be summed up in the last 6 games. I was talking to one of our producers, Matt Williams, about this before we started